First of all, let's clear up some things about memory improvement techniques. Their role is to help your memory stick better in your brain. At its most basic level, memory training is about converting abstract things into memorable images for the brain, who thinks in pictures. Pictures are our brain's alphabet. But what happens when we are dealing with abstract concepts such as numbers, dates, names, definitions, formulas, and so on? Our learning's biggest problem is that the concepts we have to memorize in our studies, in our careers, or in everyday situations are largely abstract concepts that do not have a concrete associated image, and for this reason cannot be easily retained by our brain. As an example, think of numbers. Contrary to concrete concepts that can be associated with an object, a person, or an animal, numbers, and especially random long numeric sequences, are difficult to remember because of their abstract nature. If I say, think of an apple, your mind immediately visualizes an apple. But if I say 759665253, you will have a hard time committing it to memory. This problem leads us to the first principle of memory improvement. Memory techniques aim to transform abstract concepts into easy-to-remember images, and this is done through association. Association is the key mechanism on which all memory techniques are based, probably the most efficient mechanism that our memory has incorporated into it. But for the purpose of efficient learning, the association needs to be a conscious and controlled process. From the perspective of our memory, an efficient association is an image that cannot be easily forgotten. This can be done by applying a few tips and tricks to exaggerate the images and thus making them as memorable as possible. As memory expert Harry Lorraine wrote, "We tend to forget the simple, everyday, ordinary things. We rarely forget the unique and the extraordinary. Make your associations unusual, ridiculous, and impossible, and they'll stick like burrs." German psychologist Hedwig von Restorff identified in 1933 a very interesting memory phenomenon known as the von Restorff effect, according to which things that stand out from their peers are more memorable. In other words, an object that is notably different from the rest in size, color, or other basic characteristics will be more readily recalled than the others because the attention is usually captured by salient, novel, surprising, or distinctive stimuli. Being different is not better or worse, but different is memorable. Therefore, according to the first principle, to memorize abstract concepts, we must mentally transform them into concrete and real images with the help of association. Thus, to memorize them, a long series of numbers or a scientific text is transformed into a series of concrete images of some people, objects, or animals. On the other hand, so that our brain does not become confused when it tries to remember what it has previously memorized, we need a mental structure to place these images in order. The need for this orderly structure brings us to the second principle of memory training. If you already have a structure of knowledge on which to hang the new information, you can keep the parts in context and you can process the information in a way your mind knows how to manage. Since ancient times, the Greeks discovered a memory technique that is still essential in memory improvement and indispensable in memory competitions. Known as memory palace technique, this method transforms known routes from our daily life into orderly structures, along with which we can place our mental images, and thus we make them unforgettable. Therefore, for an efficient memorization, we need two things. 1, an orderly mental structure, and 2, some images of real things. This delimitation leads to the classification of memory techniques as follows. 1. Techniques that help you create a structure for your mental images, and these are the memory palace method, the PEG system, and the mind mapping technique. The pre-built structure created with these techniques will help you memorize the items in an order. The order is its main use. This structure can be a memory palace, like a building or a journey through a city, different types of pegs, body parts, alphabet letters, ordered numbers, etc., or a mind map, meaning a conceptual diagram used to visually organize information. These techniques will be presented in the second section of this course. And 2, techniques that encode the things you want to remember. Acronyms, the sound-alike method, the link method, the major system, the Dominic system, and the person-action-object PAO system. These techniques help you transform the abstract things you need to memorize, foreign words, numbers, dates, playing cards, topics to cover in a speech, etc., into easy-to-remember images. Every item becomes an image that you will place along the mnemonic structure created with the structural technique's help, which will give you the order. The weirdness of the associations between the mnemonic images and the places where you hang them will help you to memorize better. These encoding techniques will be presented in detail in the third section of this course. Then, in the fourth section of this course, you will begin to practice the learned techniques for different situations that you face every day in your personal life, in your studies, and in your career. Here's what you will learn: how to memorize shopping lists, to-do lists, or any type of ordered list of items. How to create a mental calendar for remembering appointments and anniversaries. How to remember where you put things, mobile phones, keys, glasses, cars, and so on. How to remember why you went into a room. How to memorize daily important numbers like telephone numbers, social security numbers, or license plate numbers. If you're a student, you will learn how to use the memory methods for studying history, biology, medical terms, chemistry, mathematics, poems, quotes, or anything you want to learn. I will teach you my original and extremely efficient method for learning any kind of information, the super clever advanced learning method, SCALM, a very versatile method that combines the most efficient memory techniques to study and memorize a large amount of information and then recall it for an exam, even entire books. How to use memory techniques in your career for business meetings and public speaking to become more confident of what you have to say in any situation. How to memorize long numbers. When I say long numbers, I mean hundreds or thousands of digits, which can be memorized much easier if you learn the right techniques. I will present to you a powerful technique for learning any foreign language. With some practice, the basic vocabulary of a foreign language, usually about 1,000 words, can be learned in just a few days. How to remember people's names. You will learn a step-by-step method that will help you remember the names by associating them with the people's faces. And how to memorize playing cards as the memory athletes do in memory competitions. As you can see, memory techniques can be applied in most areas of our lives, and this course will present them to you in a simple to understand and to apply way, along with many examples and practical applications. In the fifth section, I will show you some tips and tricks that will help you start practicing the techniques learned in this course. Section 6 presents the course summary and the next steps you can take on the path to your memory improvement after you have completed this course. And finally, the resources section, where you will find a lot of memory improvement resources. As you can see, you have a lot to learn in this course, so let's get straight to the point. In the next section, I will present to you the structural memory techniques, a very important type of techniques for any memory athlete. So see you in the next lesson.